If you find yourself in trouble, count on me, my friend. I'll get right up in trouble's face. You won't see him again. I've got the backbone, American. I've got the heart, American. I've got the will, American. Will you stand up, don't sit down. Stand up, don't back down. Stand up, shout it out. Stand up, let's make it loud. American, American.
Welcome to another exciting show with Southern Sense on Blog Talk Radio. So turn up the volume and enter our chat room or grab your phones. Call in and join the conversation. Help us to restore the Republic to this country and inspire the majority to be silent no longer.
Well, look me straight in the eye. Tell me what you see. I'll tell the truth every time. Yes, you can count on me. I've got the backbone, American. I've got the heart, American. I've got the will, American. Will you stand up, don't sit down. Stand up, don't back down. Stand up and shout it out. Stand up, let's make it loud. American, 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 American.
Welcome, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, and you're here listening to Southern Sense here on Blog Talk Radio, formerly Pundit Press, now known as High Plains Talk Radio, SHR Media, Kinetic Hi-Fi, The Fix FM out of Charleston, South Carolina, and many more places. Check out our website. It's the name of the show, Southern Sense. Put a dash in the middle and a .com at the end, and you have it. southern-sense.com. Check it out. I'm your hostess with the mostest, the radio chick, Annie. And it seems that my normal co-host, Curtis C.S. Bennett, is missing in action. He sent me an email this morning, which said he was going to be here, but he's missing, so maybe we'll have him pop in a little bit later on. But we had someone who volunteered to step in and play Patsy to me, so I want to welcome aboard Glenn Atkinson. Good afternoon, Glenn.
Hey, good afternoon, Annie, and hello, America. Yeah, hey, you know what? Anytime you can use me, just don't abuse me. No, just kidding.
Well, we got ourselves a really exciting show. We were supposed to have Morton Storm, the author of the book Agent Storm, on the show, but I guess he's having some difficulties, and he canceled last minute. So instead, I pulled a rabbit out of the hat, as I always do, and we've got Rodney Lee Conover coming on. You know Rodney Lee. He's been on the show several times. He's always a blast to have. You never know what the heck is going to come out of this man's mouth. He's the senior editor for Joe for America, Joe the Plumber's website. He also is the producer and comedian writer for Michael Loftus of The Flip Side, and Michael's always a great guest to have on. Matter of fact, I haven't had him on since September, so I am remiss. I told him I was going to try to get him on at least once a month, but we've been so swamped. And thanks to you people, you helped make the show as popular as it is. And don't forget, we're still sitting at number 16 of the top 100 conservative shows at toptalkradio.com. Check out my smiling face, just 2 rows below Rush Limbaugh. Oh, man. We're going to have a great time. But anyone that listens to the show knows that we start off each and every show with a dedication to a fallen hero, and today is no different. Today's show is going to be dedicated to Army Private First Class Matthew J. England. He was killed in action on June 8, 2011, in Najaf province, Iraq, when enemy forces attacked his unit with an improvised explosive device. And I'm going to try to see if I can pull up the dedication music, which Blog Talk Radio has a habit of messing up on me, but we'll try it anyway. And this is from Iraq War Heroes, warheroes.org, and in honesty, it was written by his mother. And it goes, "This is a tribute to my son, Matthew Joseph England, who was killed in action in An Najaf province, Iraq, when enemy forces attacked his unit with an improvised explosive device. He was assigned to the 3rd Squadron, 3rd Armored Cavalry Regiment, Fort Hood, Texas. Matthew was an Ozark mountain boy, raised in the rural southern Missouri area near the town of Gainesville by me, his mother, and his stepfather. Matthew's extended family includes his natural father, paternal grandfather, aunts and uncles in Tennessee, as well as maternal grandmother and other family members in Alabama. Matthew attended school at Lutley R6 Accelerated School in Theodosia, Missouri, where he was in the Honor Society and graduated as salutatorian. He got his first job at the age of 16 and had been gainfully employed since that date. In addition to serving in the U.S. Army, Matthew was working hard at earning his college degree. Matthew had set some lofty goals for his future. His dream job had always been to someday fly military aircraft. It didn't matter what kind of aircraft, as long as he could pilot something. He had hoped his commanding officers would someday see fit to nominate him for Warrant Officer Flight School. If that was not to be, Matthew's backup plan was equally ambitious. He would remain serving in the military until graduating from college, in hopes that a college degree coupled with his experience as a veteran soldier would be enough to entice the CIA into allowing him a shot at joining the coveted ranks. It did not necessarily have to be as a covert agent. A position sitting in a cubicle in front of a computer analyzing data would have been just fine. He was a whiz at computers. But his life was far from being all seriousness. When home in the Ozarks, Matthew enjoyed the lakes in the summertime, especially when getting a thrill by jumping from the tops of the bluffs. Young person craziness. In the colder months, he fervently wished for snow to fall deep enough to allow him to break out his snowboard. When stationed at Fort Hood, there was little chance of going snowboarding. He substituted his snowboard with a skateboard and quickly came to enjoy that sport. The big adventure he was waiting anxiously to do after his tour was to learn to skydive. He spent the past year trying to entice his stepdad, a former Army paratrooper, into returning to the skies to take lessons. Matthew loved music of all kinds, especially classic rock, and was a fan of the movies. Matthew was a muscle car enthusiast. He owned 2 Camaros, a 1984 Z28 given to him on his 16th birthday by his stepdad and me, and a 1993 Z28 he bought on his own. He was saving his money to buy a brand new Dodge Challenger. Matthew England was a proud, dedicated soldier who was intelligent and witty and driven. He was a good friend to those deserving. He especially cherished the bond developed with those fellow soldiers with whom he served side by side. Those young fighting men, many of whom I feel I know personally, are true friends, evident by their genuine posts on Matthew's Facebook page and their heartfelt correspondence with me. My husband is a former soldier, and he mentioned so many times the camaraderie that exists between soldiers. I now truly understand. I think back over the life I spent with Matthew. It went by so quickly. It was filled with so many wondrous things I could write forever about him in this dedication. But I will end with this. Private First Class Matthew Joseph England was my loving son, and to me, he was simply awesome. Signed, Pamela Hengen. This show is dedicated to this young American hero and to all the brave men and women out there who have served, who are serving, who will serve, as well as to the first responders who constantly leave their homes, their families, and protect and serve. God bless them all.
Born in the grip of oppression, I fought for my liberty. I paid with the blood of my people. Freedom has never been free. Now my door's always open to dreamers and friends. When I'm attacked, I protect and defend, because my name is America. I stand proud and free. My name is America. Don't tread on me. I cannot be broken. I cannot be shamed. If you hurt me, I'll get stronger, and I'll rise up from the flames, and I'll always stand proud and free. I'm America, don't tread on me. America is my name. My strength was not taken from others. Others gave it to me. They believe in the virtues I stand for, my respect for humanity. Now I'm challenged by tyrants who envy my power, but their vicious deeds become my finest hour, because my name is America. I stand proud and free. My name is America. Don't tread on me. I cannot be broken. I cannot be shamed. If you hurt me, I'll get stronger, and I'll rise up from the flames, and I'll always stand proud and free. I'm America, don't tread on me. America is my name. For those who need me, I'll always be here. For those who will harm me, I'll face without fear. But I'll always stand proud and free. I'm America, don't tread on me. I'm America, yes, America is my name. Is my
All right, Todd Allen Herndon, My Name is America, and you can download that song for free from his site by going to toddallenshow.com and just click on the download, and you'll have My Name is America on your computer, your iPod, your phone, whatever. Check it out. You're here listening to Southern Sense here on Blog Talk Radio, High Plains Talk Radio, SHR Media, Kinetic Hi-Fi, the Fix FM out of Charleston. The heck with it. Just go to my website. It's the name of the show. Put a dash in the middle, southern-sense.com. Check it out. Now, I want to welcome back Glenn Atkinson. I'm the radio chick. I forgot to say who the heck I am. I'm Annie, the radio chick, along with Glenn Atkinson co-hosting with me today. I'm losing it, Glenn. I am absolutely losing it.
We know who you are. You're the sweet Annie. We know best.
I want to welcome everyone that's listening in the chat room and those that are also listening in on the phone lines. I see you guys up in the studio on my switchboard. If you want to join the conversation, please remember to press 1 and I'll bring you on. We are waiting for our guest, Rodney Lee Conover, to call in, but there is so much to talk about. I don't know if anyone caught the news just before tuning into the show here, but there seems to be a huge catfight going on between Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and the DNC. Have you caught that?
Actually, yeah, I'm actually seeing somebody's ugly mug on the TV right now, and that's it starts with B and O. Obama's conference going on right now about everything, and it's good to see all this stuff blow up in their faces because that's what we want. We want them fighting.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And, it just brings joy to my heart because if they can pull Hillary Clinton into this whole scandal here and then Bernie Sanders becomes the nominee, it's going to be a cakewalk into the White House.
Oh, yeah. And I really do believe, and we all should believe, that God does have a hand on a lot of this stuff that's going on. Exposure, folks. This is a lot of exposure. And, when you have the infighting going on as we see it, this is exposure that we Christians and we Republicans that are doing our darndest to get this country back on track, and God is the one that's bringing a lot of this stuff out because it wasn't no better timing than now.
Yeah, it's funny because we are having a clash of civilizations. Honestly, I truly and honestly believe that you've got the Islamic horde clashing with Western society, but you also have the clash within our own society of the progressive liberalisms like the Bernie Sanders and the Barack Obamas out there clashing with the conservative religious right. And I'm also finding more people are starting to turn to religion. The more that our faith is being attacked, you find those that have been sitting quietly on the sidelines going, wait a minute, something is not right here. And maybe there is something to this Christianity. Let me check it out. I mean, I've been seeing record number of people coming into our own church, and we've got a parish that nearby that their congregation drilled down to like only about 7 people, and a bunch of the other churches around said, hey, listen, let's get your membership back up. You're not going to be stealing from us, but we're going to help bring people into your flock. And they actually packed that church with new members. So they're out there. They are out there.
Well, and the thing is we've a lot of us have been saying this, you included, and Dan Butcher, a lot of people about the two things that I believe are the most important things of what's gone wrong. And with this country and in the world for everything, and that is that we don't have and we're, like you said, we're getting more Jesus back into our homes, into our communities, and into everything because he's our foundation. So with the omission of Jesus, with omitting Jesus and not having him in, and it's no wonder the world's gone crazy. And so therefore, with the political correctness instead of Jesus, that's two things. We're without Jesus and we have political correctness. That's the death of this world. That's what's wrong with this world. And so therefore, I always refer back to 2 Chronicles 7, number 14 and 15, and please allow me to read this. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and will forgive their sin, and will heal their land. Now mine eyes shall be open, and mine ears attent unto the prayer that is made in this place. And if we get back to this, folks, and I believe we are. I see the movements happening, and people are waking up, and this is what we need, and exposure to what we just found out today and other things. This is key to our country, to this world, and getting back on track with God and without political correctness, and we will have this land healed. I really firmly believe that. We're seeing the revelations coming and everything for all this, and it's good to see the people waking up.
All right, I think we got our guest here. Let me see if this is. Okay, area code 818. Is this Rodney?
This is me.
Where are you in a bathroom or something?
No. I'm in my traveling office called a Honda.
Oh man, we have so much stuff that is going on. I have a whole list of wackadoodle things to talk with you about. You know, I mean, some of this stuff that is coming out in the news is just you can't make it up. And I'm going by the time we get done.
I believe most of it is stuff that I predicted on your show about 3 months ago. Is it not?
That is one thing. That is one thing, because right after the debate on CNN the other night, I saw stuff coming across the internet. Trump is going to endorse so and so. It hasn't officially happened. Someone's predicting it's going to happen on Christmas Day. So we'll wait and see if a certain candidate gets a certain Christmas gift.
Yes. Yes, we will. And then what you can just do a best of with the show that I was on, what was that, 3 months ago? You can just do a best of, and it will sound like an actual current show, because that's how far ahead I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I honestly think that's going to happen, because we were just talking about the rift that's going on in the DNC between Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz over these.
Well,
Go
ahead. Let me give you the heads up. Let me give you the heads up on this. There is no rift, number one. It's a mini black flag that they're doing to get some attention back on the Democrats. Number two, Bernie Sanders is not only a serious candidate, he's not only an unserious candidate, he is actually a shill to make Hillary look younger, more moderate, less crazy, and less of a socialist. That's why Bernie Sanders is standing before us. There is zero chance that Bernie Sanders will be the Democratic nominee. There is zero chance anyone will be the nominee except Hillary. Hillary could come out in a pantsuit with swastikas on it, and she would still be the Democrat nominee for president. That's number one. Number two, did anybody watch the last Democratic, and I put this in quotes, debate? No. Nobody. Why? Because they're busy talking about, thinking about, watching the replay of, and anticipating the next Republican debate. This whole thing with Debbie, I'm Biat, crazy Schultz and Bernie Sanders and Hillary, it is a scam. Do not believe a moment of it, and it is all to gear some of the media attention back on the Democrat Party. Do we have a sponsor for my rants? Because you really need to make some phone calls, Susan.
A sponsor for your rants. Okay. Well, we'll see about that.
They should be sponsored by somebody, for crying out loud.
Well, it's funny because we were talking on my last show about Bernie Sanders actually pulled some of his attack ads against Hillary. He had them up on the internet, and they were flashing up on things, and he yanked them. You know, if you were,
why did he pull them?
Yeah.
Why? What's the question? I mean, what's the answer to that question? The answer is the DNC wanted them pulled. The Democrats are a lot better at Republicans at sticking together. They are just way, way better at it. Now, I don't particularly think that's healthy for the country. I think you should have a divided Democrat Party. I think you should have a divided Republican Party. I think it's very healthy. What's not healthy is when you have this omnibus bill come out and you suddenly realize that the Republican establishment is in cahoots with the Obama administration. That's what's not healthy. What's healthy is when everybody argues and everybody has an opinion, and then, the different parties pull together at the end and they go at it. That's what's healthy. What we got going on right now is very unhealthy. I mean, have you guys taken, just a tertiary glance at this budget that they're going to ram through? It is everything Obama ever wanted in his quote-unquote lame duck year. He's like the king. There's no other explanation. They talked about Donald Trump in the last debate answering the question definitively, will you run as an independent? Definitively he said, "No, it's going to be huge. I'm going to be a huge Republican," and he definitively said he would not run as an independent. And it kind of put to bed, it put to rest the idea of a third party. We don't need a third party. We need a second party, okay? And we don't have one right now, except maybe the people on this show.
It's funny because there was a little-known article that crossed over my desk last week, and I never got a chance to pull it out and use it. But Paul Ryan actually sat down with a 2-hour lunch with Nancy Pelosi. And lo and behold, just a handful of days later, we've got this budget. This budget that is $1.149 trillion. It's 2,009 pages. And yesterday, my congressman, Mark Sanford, shot off an email, which I got, and saying, this is the biggest farce he had ever seen. And today, going up and down on Twitter, it's Ryan Rhino resign. Hashtag Ryan Rhino resign. Try saying that 3 times fast. It doesn't work. But yeah, it was predicted. Everyone kept on saying, "Oh, Paul Ryan's going to be different," and the rest of us were saying, "No, he's another Boehner." And this is exactly what we got: another Boehner. Nothing has changed.
Well, 2/3 since the year 2010, which was really the uprising, the first election after the uprising of 2009, which was a true grassroots uprising. I'm sorry if it's a little noisy. I'm going on a bumpy road here. Honda not riding like the magic carpet it was when I bought it, so it's a little bumpy. I still love it, though. Made in Tennessee, before anybody gets mad at me for buying foreign. Made in Tennessee by American workers, and it's a heck of a vehicle. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, the 2010 election comes around, and we meaning me, you, and the rest of the true conservative Americans who got up off go, took a couple weeks off of their living their busy lives, their busy, happy, in pursuit of happiness lives, to sweep, to make an historic sweep of Republicans into the majority of the House of Representatives, almost took the Senate. A couple of missteps, or else we would have had the Senate as well. And lo and behold, then of course we took a rest because we figured, okay, House of Representatives under Article 1 of the Constitution gives us the power of the purse. We'll be able to defund Obamacare and anything else we want to defund because the dudes that we sent to the House of Representatives, that's what they said they were going to do. Okay? Now, we take a little bit of a rest. We go back to our barbecues and hard work and having fun and living the American dream. Lo and behold, 2/3 of the people that we sent there got massaged or seduced, or I guess if you're a vampire, they call it glamored, and they get it. All of a sudden, they turn into not just squishy, but they go over to the dark side. They decide that it's pretty cool to be a congressman. They decide to be that it's cool to be with the establishment. And we're going, what the? So, 2014, we do it again. We just rise up and we do get the Senate. We increase our majority in the House of Representatives. Lo and behold, 2/3 of those guys do the same thing. So I think we're learning something here. No matter what they say, no matter what they talk about when they campaign, you are going to have 2/3 of the people turn their backs on you. Paul Ryan is one of them. Now, the good news is 1/3 of them are still solid. You got your Louis Gohmerts, you got your Ted Cruz's, you got your, Trey Gowdy's. They're there. And we just got to keep vigilant. That's all, Susan. We just got to keep vigilant. And if you think that, not you, but the generic use of the word you, if you think that the answer is, oh, gee, all we need to do is get a Republican in the White House, well, may I point you back to the year 2000 and the years 2000 to 2005 when we did have a Republican in the White House, a Republican Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives. Can I point you back to those 5 years and say, how did that work out? It didn't work out at all is the answer. The most profligate spenders the history of this nation were Republicans until Pelosi, Reid, and Obama came along and showed us how to do it. All right? So the answer is not, gee, we just need to get a Republican in the White House. That's not, unless it's Ted Cruz. See how I slipped that in there? Unless it's Ted Cruz, that's not the answer. So I don't even know what the question was because I rambled on so long. Was that rant sponsored? Because Frito-Lay could have got in on that one.
Southern Poverty Law Firm Law Center is going to sponsor that one for you. How's that?
Oh, great. You guys were talking about – hello, everybody, by the way. Sorry. I get a little wordy. I get paid by the word. Did you know that? It's really great. Unfortunately, that amount per word is so tiny that I've just got to jam a lot of them in there. You guys were talking about the Bible, and it reminded me of my sister, both of my sisters. They both have 3 boys. They both have 3 kids. They're all boys, 6 boys. And I've always tried to get them to name them after me, and they never do. But this last time, my older sister, she came up with a pretty good excuse. She said, we're going to name all of our kids names from the Bible. And you guys reminded me of this just now when I was on hold earlier. And, of course, Rodney Lee, not in the Bible, at least not in the version we're reading currently. So I was a little, I thought, well, that, now what can I do? Every time one of them gets pregnant, I don't even have an argument anymore. But she did say this. She said, you can go through the Bible and pick out the name. Don't you think that was pretty cool?
Oh, that was pretty cool. So what'd you pick out?
Yeah. Well, the other day I was hanging out with little Deuteronomy, and we went to the zoo, and we had such a great time. Him and his brother Exodus. We just had a ball. And you guys reminded me of that. My nephews, Deuteronomy and Exodus. I can't wait for the next one. This whole thing, if I may, tie it into the Bible. Now, listen, you guys know a lot more about the Bible than I do. I'm kind of a cafeteria guy. I pick out the cool parts and talk about them. But listen to this. This may make your heads explode.
Okay.
But our current situation with the Republican nomination for the President of the United States, the debates, everything that's going on, and I heard you mention Trump and, there's Rubio and there's all these people. Trump is John the Baptist. Now let that sink in a little bit. Donald Trump, in biblical terms, is John the Baptist. He is offering his head on a platter to everyone, to the media, to the American people, to the Democrats, to anybody that will listen. His head is on a platter. Why? Because he is clearing the decks, my friends, for a giant change in this country. And Ted Cruz is going to walk through. He is literally going to walk through the parted Red Sea and become president. And I believe that. And I'm not, and I don't mean to, compare Ted Cruz to Christ. I'm just saying, a biblical parable here is that Trump is John the Baptist, and he is clearing the way for something great. So let us not be, let us not be pessimistic. Greatness is on the way. Do you remember another guy who was despised by his own party, who was despised by the Howard Bakers, the Ford family, the Bush family, of his day? And he didn't have talk radio. He didn't have Fox News, Rush Limbaugh, the Internet. And that was Ronald Reagan. Does that sound like anybody we know today? You bet it does. It's Ted Cruz.
The funny thing is I haven't said anything about who I endorse or anything. I haven't pushed one candidate over another, mainly because you're going to have always someone, throwing something at you. Oh, well, I'm not going to listen. I'm not playing that game. But one thing I've had, people say, well, isn't he ineligible to become president because he was not born within the United States? He had one parent that was not an American. Same thing with Rubio, they're saying. But my answer to that is, well, listen, no one complained about Barack Hussein Obama. And if they turn around and say now that Cruz or Rubio are ineligible, they're going to have to bring everything about Obama back out into the open, and they'll never do that. They will never, ever do that. From the day that Obama was elected, the whole thing about being born here in the United States went out the window.
Well, even if they do that, Susan. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind.
Annie, the radio chick.
No, a call just came in here. Susan. So I've got to get rid of it. Hold on.
Gee, the only time I got called a different name was in bed.
Sorry about that. I had to get rid of Susan. Listen, even if they do, and it wouldn't put it past me if the Clinton machine threw caution to the wind and said Ted Cruz is ineligible and the whole birther thing, blah, blah, blah. Listen, Ted Cruz is a pretty accomplished attorney, a guy who has argued before the Supreme Court, and, this is no dummy. We got to, you may like lawyers, you may not like lawyers, but this guy is an incredible lawyer, and he knows a lot of constitutional scholars, and he has had any number of people, including the great Mark Levin, who is also a constitutional scholar, look into that question. Is Ted Cruz eligible to be president? All of the constitutional scholars, people that don't have any skin in the game, even people that are known, Democrats, say that he's eligible. That is a canard. And I'll tell you something else while I'm on the subject. What is this thing, we're the party of, the Republicans are just the old white party. What? Take a look at the Democrats. They've got Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. Could you be any older and whiter? I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with old white people. I'm an old white people myself. I think we're great. I'm very proud to be an old white people. I can't believe I made it to the age I made it to, quite frankly. So I'm very proud. But if we're going to play that little game, if we're going to play that little diversity, non-diversity game that the liberals are so good at playing, then let's play it. Let's play Republican diversity. A, Ted Cruz's father is Cuban. Marco Rubio's father is Cuban. You can see Chris Christie from Cuba. So there's a lot of diversity there. And how about Ben Carson? Fantastic. He is the epitome of the American dream. Is he not? I mean, we knew he was going to be a great surgeon because earlier in his life he started stabbing people. Now that, they call it medical practice. Okay, people practice medicine. You don't normally practice on your members of your own family. But okay, when he got older, he became this brilliant surgeon. He surgically separated conjoined twins. We got Donald Trump, who's actually dated twins. So there is a lot of diversity in the, when nobody laughs, it makes me nervous. And that's the bad thing about radio. Now, the other guys, I don't know. It's like saying, Trump's, wouldn't it be great if Ted Cruz got the nomination and he picked Marco Rubio as the vice president, that would get Florida, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, that's the Ricky Ricardo ticket. I mean, seriously, they could go in and they could say to Hillary, you got some explaining to do. Every time the issue of Benghazi or emails, Hillary, you got some explaining to do. They could send Cruz's father out to do that. I think it'd be a riot. What do you think?
Raphael, I'm sure would have fun doing it.
That's the comedy portion of our show, and I hope that was sponsored. If that wasn't sponsored, guys, you really need to get new salespeople.
Well, I've got something all queued up just for you, Rodney. Let me see if I can get this to play, and you're going to understand why it keys in.
I like it so far.
The BB King.
Yeah, baby. Sounds like we're on at midnight. grill is gone.
The grill is gone away.
This must be the Chris Matthews
The
show.
grill is gone, baby.
And it's
The grill is gone away.
All right. That I keyed up just for this article from Town Hall. MRC TV asks MSNBC's Chris Matthews about his Obama thrills and tells them to go to hell. This guy, Dan Joseph, spotted Matthews in the spin room in Las Vegas during the December 15th Republican debate and asked if he still feels the same about President Obama. and Matthews told Joseph to go to hell.
That's hysterical. I love it.
I could not resist that one, but the thrill is gone.
Hey, we're also to the portion of the show where I order coffee and I give crap to the Starbucks lady. Okay, so listen to this. Listen in. Hold on. Thank you for choosing Starbucks. Can I start you off with any breakfast conversation? No, I'd like a large coffee though, with no room, in one of those really cool Christmas cups. I love your Christmas cups. So a large black coffee, no room, in the Christmas cup. Thanks.
Anything else?
That'll be it.
All right, $2.45.
$2.45. Wow. You guys should raise your prices. I don't know how you keep your doors open, honestly. I'll be there in a second. The last time I did this, I swear to you, I'm not lying. The last time I did that, somebody took a magic marker, took a little Sharpie, and wrote Merry Christmas on my cup, and they misspelled it. It said Merry Christmas. They must have been in such a hurry.
Well,
anyway,
they start with the list.
Yeah, I give Starbucks a crap every time I come in here. It's great. I think they're starting to really get annoyed with me. You think?
You think.
Anyway, yeah. What now? That wasn't really Chris Matthews that said go to HE double hockey sticks, though, right? That he didn't say that, did he?
Oh, yes,
what
he did.
He say?
No.
So he personally said that.
Yeah, because Joseph asked him. We just wanted to know really quickly, how is your leg? And Matthews goes, "What leg? The leg. Is the thrill still there on the leg, or is it not?" And then Matthews responds, "You can go to hell, okay? Just go to hell. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone." I'm crying.
That's funny. Sounds like that Helen Reddy song. Good, thank you. $2.45. Thanks. Paying for my coffee. Hold on.
This is live radio, folks.
I'm really. Thank you. That's my Christmas cup? That's it. Okay, thanks. Have a good one, Arthur. All right, it's just red, though. There's really no Christmassy thing on it. It's just red. Red can mean communism, too. It doesn't really mean Christmas. Hey, don't walk. He walked away from me. Okay, fine.
Is that the first time?
They just walk away. They don't want to have anything on. Oh, they fear me. I should have said Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I should have said. One time I went in there and I had an old Starbucks cup, and I had been using it to grow small plants in, the dirt and everything. And I emptied the dirt out, and I wrote on it, "No more Christmas, no more Robbie Lee. Get it together." And I gave it to them. And the next day, I came anyway, and they had filled it with coffee and gave it back to me. It was all dirty, and I was like, well, I guess I deserve that. So this is how I amuse myself, guys, in addition to calling into radio shows and not getting my rants sponsored. I amuse myself every day by giving people crap. I think everybody should do it in a happy way. Let's stop being mad at Starbucks, okay? Let's stop being mad at Chick-fil-A. Let's just all be happy. That's what Uncle Rodney says. Why? Because it's Christmas time. And if you don't like Christmas, just, okay, that's cool. You know what I say to people when they say, "Oh, I don't believe in Christianity. It's all a bunch of crap." That's a bunch of crap. I don't believe in it. You know what I say? I say, good. That's fantastic. More Jesus for me. That's how I look at it, It's like, you don't like pecan pie? Okay, I'll have your slice. No problem.
Oh, man. There's a family, I think it's in New Jersey. No, Florida. It's in Florida. And they take their entire yard and they do this whole big thing for Christmas. It looks almost like a fairground, like one of these carousel things they have spinning in there, lights all over the place and interactive. And the mayor of the town is in a pissing contest with the homeowner, so she's trying to get it shut down. Meanwhile, people are showing up by the droves going, no, this is great. This is really what Christmas is about. So the Fox News tries tagging her in the supermarket, and she was not too nice a person. She got a little bad press. But people are starting to put Christ back into Christmas. It used to be a couple of years ago, you went through Lowe's and you wouldn't see a single thing on there that said Merry Christmas. Now you see it all over the place.
I think they're getting the message, huh?
Yeah, I think they are. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That's what Glenn and I were talking about before you came on, about we're starting to see people starting to turn back to religion. The more that they attack it, the more the normal silent majority out there, the normal people, not the extreme Bernie Sanders or anything like that, or the Debbie what's her name Schultz. It's the normal people going, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Something's not right. No, something's not right. We should have Christmas. We should have free college. Then we go to Christmas. You wouldn't have any Christmas. He's like, who's that comic? He's Jackie Mason. That's who he is. Stop talking about email. I don't know about you, but she can hold the marriage together outside that for Hillary. That's right. Where am I? Free college. I don't know why everybody's leaving my city. This issue of Christmas, I don't mean to interrupt, but you made me think of my best friend of all time. I mean, to this day, and probably will always be, is an atheist. And he's not one of these mad, he's not one of these angry atheists. He's a very happy, jolly person to hang out with, and has been. I went to college with him, and that's how long I've been friends with him. But he's a true atheist. He truly does not believe in have a personal belief in any religion, and he's not an agnostic either. He's an atheist. Now, this guy's my best friend. It doesn't, I'm emotionally mature enough to have friends that don't believe everything that I believe. I'm 25 years in Hollywood. You can bet that I have some really, really close friends who are just crazy left-wing liberals, mainly because they don't know any better. But the point is, if you're not mature enough to have friends of different colors, and I'm not talking about skin colors, but of a different color, meaning maybe you don't agree on everything, then I think you get into this insecurity thing. People are just insecure about their own beliefs. Well, I'm very secure about my beliefs. I know where I'm going to be on the other side. That's why, I'm a trained bodyguard. That's why I can take a bullet and look forward to it. And to contrast that, this friend of mine I'm telling you about is every bit as secure in his atheism as I am in Christianity. Every bit. And we have some knockdown, drag-out, fantastic arguments. We drive to Vegas all the time just so we can argue about, Christianity versus atheism. And last time, I got to tell you, I nailed it. I actually shut him up. It was awesome. And you guys can steal this. I don't mind. I said, well, isn't it convenient? Isn't it easy and convenient for atheists in America when you're surrounded by 250 years of Judeo-Christian law and morality, safe in your little homes, safe in your little neighborhoods. You can go out for a walk with your little kids, safe in the knowledge that 250 years of Judeo-Christian morality and law allows you to do that and allows you your little lifestyle. You know the irony? You take an atheist and you airlift them into a country with no Judeo-Christian morality and law, say Darfur or North Korea or someplace like this, and the irony is that in about 30 minutes they would find God. And of course, they'd be dragging them through the streets and cattle prodding their groin, but still they would suddenly find God. That is the irony of atheism. And let me tell you, I've never seen my friend shell-shocked like he didn't have a comeback. And I'm telling you, I laughed for another hour. And I thought we were actually going to have our first, like, really true argument. Well, we never did. And we haven't argued about atheism since then. So, folks, there is your winner of the day. That was sponsored by Super Target, by the way. I don't know why.
That's like the old joke that goes, God is dead, sign Nietzsche. And then below that, God answers, Nietzsche is dead, sign the God.
Yeah. Where is Nietzsche? That's what I want to. That's my new. I'm going to start out my philosophy book called. Where's Nietzsche? Where did he go? So, tell you something.
Okay.
Sister.
Yes, brother.
Something's going to be happening to you that you may not be aware of, because I heard you on this very show not more than 10 rants ago. You said that you don't endorse. Well, he laughs. You're going to be endorsing this year, my friend, because I am going to be talking you into it. What do you think about that?
Well, you see, I may not say over the air, but I do have my own personal preferences and opinions.
And who would that be? Who would your personal preferences be?
Then that, if I say it over the air, then that would make.
No, we're not on the air. Hold on. I'm pushing a button. Okay, we are. We're all on mute. Who is it?
Oh, I'll tell you who it will not be. It will not be a Huckabee. It will not be a Huckabee. It will not be a Bush.
Huckabee's out. Bush is out.
All right. Who else is in the field?
Can't be not Rubio. Can't be Rubio. He's out. Come on.
My mind just went blank on who also is in the field. Oh, Kasich, definitely not. Pataki,
okay,
definitely
but you can't be considering Amnesty Rubio Amnesty, who I named him just now. It can't be him. Come on. He couldn't get elected dog catcher in Florida, by the way.
It will be one of the top three tiers. It would definitely be one of the top three tiers, and you can just go eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and make your guess. But that's as far as I go.
You would not eliminate Marco Rubio just now. That's very telling.
Neither did I eliminate Trump, nor did I eliminate Cruz. All I said it was going to be one of the top three tiers.
Okay, we're going to whittle that down. Okay, you ready?
No, you're not.
Ready for whittling.
He is stubborn, half Italian, half German. I don't budge.
Really? I'm half Irish and I'm half German, which means I'd love it to dominate the earth, but I'm too busy drinking. Anyway.
And besides, I was the one that stood in the line of fire, as a New York City cop, so I know what it's like to be shot at. So you're not going to get me to back down.
Yeah, okay. We'll see. But we're going to whittle anyway. Let's whittle out Trump, because he's not going to be in the race very very much longer. So now we're down to Cruz and Rubio. I'll throw a hypothetical at you. Okay, Miss, I'm so tough cop.
Brooklyn.
Here's the Brooklyn. Here's the no Slate. Tell Brooklyn. Everybody's looking at me. What if Trump drops out and endorses Cruz? Will you officially endorse Cruz?
I think that would be very nice. I think it would be very beneficial for the race, should that happen. What happens if he drops out and endorses Rubio?
Okay. Would you endorse Rubio in that case?
I think it would be very nice.
We're not telling you to endorse.
It just whittles down my choice from the top three to the top two.
Okay, I, through my magical powers of cold reading, have just determined who your guy is.
It's going to be the Cuban.
I know who your guy is.
It's going to be the Cuban.
What?
It's going to be the Cuban.
I cannot believe that you will not join me in endorsing Ted Cruz. I will not stop until you make an official endorsement. I'm going to get you on paper. I'm going to take a picture, and we're going to send it. Because guess what I did yesterday? Just take a guess. Well, I'll answer. I was at a private meeting about 50 people with our future president, Ted Cruz, in Beverly Hills, at Wolfgang Puck's in Beverly Hills. And it was so exciting. I wish you guys could have been there. I couldn't take video. They didn't want but it wasn't a fundraiser, and it wasn't a rally. It was just for 50 California, people, key people in his California camp. And I was honored to be one of them. I'm the regional chairman for Ted Cruz 2016 in the Inland Empire, which is basically San Bernardino and Riverside counties. Now, you say, oh, California. Well, guess what? That is first of all, that's the most conservative part of California. Here's a revelation from yesterday. Here was the big news. Next to Texas, next to Ted Cruz's, home base of Texas, the number 2 fundraiser for Ted Cruz, who, by the way, has the most money in the race next to Donald Trump, the number 2 state is California. So, folks, for all the people who think that all is lost and the country is doomed, the country goes as California goes. And California is starting, the giant behemoth that is California is starting to turn around. We're seeing the first little sprinkle of turnaround. And they are Cruz crazy in California. You got to come here and talk to people. I was in an Uber car last night with he was an American citizen from Egypt. Real nice guy. And I love talking to cab drivers and Uber drivers. And I started talking to him. I said, well, what do you think about, America's involvement in the Middle East? And this guy laid it on me about how Egypt and America were such good allies for so long and this and that. And we talked a little bit about the Quran and the Bible and we talked about what we had in common. And it was just awesome. The nicest cat, and I said, okay, now the big one. Who you voting for? Ted Cruz, baby. That's right. Ted Cruz. Get on the Cruz cruise. This is what I'm saying. What do you think about that?
I think that you've got a buddy that just called in. Good afternoon, Scotty. Beam me up. Scotty, unmute yourself. I think
Scott hasn't learned how to use a phone yet. Now, this is a guy who actually ran guns in Grenada. I think it was in the early 80s. Doesn't know how to use a phone. It's amazing.
Well, Scotty, either you want to call back in, but I unmuted you, and I got nothing here.
I'm here now. I think I got it. We got it?
We got it. You push the button that says on.
Yeah. Where's Scotty's intro music? That's what I want to know.
That was what I was waiting for. Some What's Up Doc or something, anything. No, I have to say, here I call in to say nice things about Rodney Lee Conover, and he's bashing me. See how he is? No, let me tell you.
You need a little bashing.
Because I've been watching the comments in the thing, and one of the questions was, who is this guy? Well, let me tell you. I'm going to tell you who he is. He's a man who stands firm for what he believes in. And how I got to know Rodney Lee, and he was a mutual friend of ours, the three of us. John LaRosa tagged me one day in one of our small groups, and tagged Rodney and said, "Listen, you want to check this guy out? He's your kind of candidate." And at the time, Rodney Lee was running for Congress in the 8th District of California. And so, of course, I went and I looked at Rodney, and I contacted Rodney. We had Rodney on a show, and got on the phone with Rodney, and we have been very, very good friends ever since. Love him dearly, and let me tell you, if he says something is a fact, you better believe it's a fact, folks.
Well, this is the portion of the show, by the way, where I ask Preacher Scott. Scott's my pastor. I asked Preacher Scott, if you've been listening to the show, have I quoted Scripture yet?
See, that's the problem. I just jumped on. I was quoting scripture myself on ladies' Bible class at Contending for Truth Radio. So I really haven't heard a whole lot of what you said. I read some of what was going on in the thing, but I guarantee you, before we're all done, you'll quote some scripture.
Well, I have to cop to everybody on this show and everybody listening to this show. Kind of glad Scotty wasn't listening, because I stole your bit, Scotty, about Donald Trump being John the Baptist, because people love that bit. I mean, it is just so on the nose. It's just perfection. He is absolutely clearing the way for great things to happen to this country. And you may love Donald Trump, and you may hate Donald Trump, you may think he's a douchebag, whatever you think. One thing is clear to me, and that he is clearing the way to get rid of political correctness, which is at the core of what is killing this country.
That's right.
Well, speaking of Donald Trump, I don't know if you caught this, but he got an endorsement from the most amazing person, Vladimir Putin. Now, wouldn't that make you want to vote for him? That Vladimir Putin says, I want him to be your president?
Well, do you think Vladimir Putin is smart enough to know that might hurt Donald Trump, and that's why he did it?
I don't know. But according to
blam, Jane, you ignorant slut, blam.
But the Daily Mail just blew the story wide open on Vladimir Putin. Would you believe that photos were taken of Vladimir Putin in 1920, 1941, and then compared to a recent one? So his appearance supposedly has not changed in 100 years. And this is an actual story in the Daily Mail, and they're showing a World War I, World War II, and then 2015, and it's the same guy, same face. So their answer to this is Vladimir Putin, in truth, is a vampire. This is a Daily Mail guy.
I know why he has been able to maintain his healthy maleness for all those years. I know exactly why. In 2 words, Cape Cod. That is vodka and cranberry juice. That's the secret that Putin. I sometimes employ the Putin device of staying young myself when I'm in Vegas, but I think it's the vodka they make over there. But listen, take this into account. There was just a debate where Donald Trump said, first he said, it's going to be huge, and after he said that, he said, I would have a no-fly zone, and that means no fly. That means nobody fly, and I'd shoot down, the implication is you'd shoot down people that fly. And, of course, yesterday Ted Cruz said the obvious. Yeah, a shooting war with Russia is what we need right now. That's perfect. But the point is, Putin doesn't want Donald Trump to be president. You can bet your sweet bippy that he doesn't, because Trump understands the same thing that Ted Cruz understands, and that is Russia is an oil company. That's all they are. And Putin is basically a gas station. Without that oil, that power to deny oil or sell oil or move oil around, and what he's doing now is moving into voids that were left by Barack Obama in the Middle East and actually controlling oil. Without that, they got nothing, buddy. And Trump has a plan. Cruz has a plan. Rubio has a plan, but that was some plan. It had nothing to do with oil. They have a plan to disarm Putin, not militarily, but economically through oil. Listen, if Barack Obama would approve the Keystone Pipeline, just that little one act alone would do incredible harm to Vladimir Putin's power, just because we would become less dependent on oil from the Middle East and from other countries. It's insanity to think that we would get the shooting war with Vladimir Putin. So I think that whole endorsement of Trump is trumped up, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've done a couple of shows on this, and if we open up the oil fields that we know have humongous amount of reserves up in Alaska, up in the Bakken Valley, out in the Northeast. And we're also talking about doing exploration along the eastern seaboard between Florida and North Carolina. If we just opened up the reserves that we know exist, we have enough oil to carry us through hundreds of years. I think the estimate is somewhere between 300 and 500 years, and we can be completely self-sufficient. And if the oil prices bring down energy prices, manufacturing and an economy that we can generate. And if you want to go for green energy, that gives us more time to do green energy research properly, not the cylinder crap that we've been getting. If you're going to do it, find an economic way to do green energy. And I'm not going to fight you. I won't fight you in the least bit. But if you can access it now, bring our economy under control, bring this nutcase that's going on across the globe with ISIS, using petrodollars to attack us, Putin using petrodollars to help fuel the crisis in the Middle East and attack us. If we bring ourselves back into national security and strong economy, we can turn around and give the middle finger to the rest of the world and say, we're back, baby. We are back, and back big time.
Yeah. You want to not destroy, but if you want to lessen the strength of Russia, if you want to lessen the strength of ISIS, if you want to lessen the strength, of people who fund terrorism, all you got to do is lower the price of a barrel of oil. You cut the price of a barrel of oil in half, and you will see terrorism drop by 85%. You will see Putin, in real trouble over there. He won't be invading anybody if you cut the price of oil in half. Now, isn't that crazy? That simple act, which, as you just articulated, we absolutely could do.
Yeah,
there's more oil, there's more energy in North America than there is anywhere. And right now, it just shocks me. The country of Iraq has to buy gasoline. Did you know they have to import gasoline? And with all that oil, they still have to import gasoline because they don't know how to refine it. It's so stupid. And you realize what you're dealing with over there. And I say let them eat that oil. You know what? Oil cartel, you know what? Saudi Arabia? Oh, our good friends, the Saudi Arabians. You remember them from such hijackings as 9/11. You remember them as from such megalomaniacs as Osama bin Laden. Yes, all Saudi Arabians. And yet they're our good friend. Oh, we have to bow down and kiss their little rings. Let them eat that oil. And I'm not kidding you. Try that for breakfast. Pour that over some Cocoa Puffs. See how that works out for you. And all we would have to do, by the way, when I was young, I used to put Cocoa Puffs in my nose. Did you guys ever do that? A little Cocoa Puff? I did.
That doesn't surprise me.
Sometimes I would, and I would try to see how many I could get up there. And they fit perfectly in each nostril, and it was amazing. And I loved Cocoa Puffs. And I would slap those in. One day, I put too many Cocoa Puffs in my nose. And they got way up in there, like in my sinus cavity. And I literally had almost my entire index finger in my nose trying to get these Cocoa Puffs out. And I started crying. I did. I was like, Mom, I can't get the Cocoa Puffs out of my nose. And she comes over, and she literally, with her thumb and her index finger, just squeezed my nose like 5 times. Crunch, 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 crunch. And it really hurt, but it did crunch up all the Cocoa Puffs in there. And I started crying, and then and chocolate milk started running out of my nose instead of snot. And
God.
It was, and I stopped crying because it was pretty good. It tasted really good. Anyway, I don't know how I got there, but
I don't know.
Oh, what a people I got.
Oh, I can't.
Annie, I have to tell you this, Annie. Rodney Lee and I have conversations every week. Of course, we got the show, Conover U, on Mondays. But Rodney and I talk all the time. And during the most serious of business conversations, he has me laughing just like you're laughing right now, Annie. I'm serious. He's one of the funniest people I've ever met.
I think the world is ready for a President Conover. I'm going to address. I'm going to have like a State of the Union address, and I just get up there and do some jokes and then leave, just to see what would happen. Funny. I think that one time I said to the great Herman Cain. Scotty and I both worked for Herman Cain. I was in different departments, but Mr. Cain was always giving me a hard time. He was just really always trying to get my goat and fool me, and it just, he was just really a funny dude. And one time right before a debate, he asked me, he goes, what should I say? He just said that. He just dead serious. What should I say? And I was kind of shocked. I was taken back. I thought he was dead serious. And I was like, oh my God, I couldn't think of anything. And I'm the guy that's supposed to be able to think of stuff like that. And I go, oh, what? And he goes, what should I say when I go out there? What should I tell him? And I said, well, tell him to lighten up. And we both had a little chuckle. And Herman Cain, Scotty, you remember this. Herman Cain went out and he said, America needs to lighten up. And he just got the biggest laugh. And it was the most quoted thing. And then we won the Florida Straw Poll. We reached $12 million. And Bob's your uncle. You know the end of that story. But that was cool, rolling with Mr. Cain. I'm going to tell a story that's a little bit out of school, but I think enough time has passed. Scotty, did you ever see Herman Cain with his purple cowboy hat that had a big feather in it?
Oh, we couldn't miss it.
Yeah. And nobody wants to say the obvious when Herman Cain would wear that big cowboy hat with a giant feather. Nobody, but it was on everybody's mind. We were at a fundraiser in Beverly Hills, and we're waiting in this restaurant. There's about 10 of us, and we're waiting for everybody to show up. And Herman Cain comes down, and he's got the darn purple cowboy hat with a big feather in it. And I go, hey, Pimp Daddy, you're sitting next to me this time over here. And I mean, you know how you might as well just go ahead and laugh instead of trying to not laugh and then it like shoots out of your nose and everything. That's what everybody did. And Herman Cain started laughing. He came over there, and about 6 days later, we were in a Secret Service jet. And he's flying out of a secret airstrip. That's what they do. And Herman Cain was reading, and he didn't even look over at me. He just said, he goes, never call me Pimp Daddy again. And even the Secret Service guys were laughing. That was the funniest thing. But Mr. Cain had a great sense of humor. And, man, I don't know if you think Donald Trump's sense of humor is good or not, but at least he has one, At least he has a sense of humor. I'm not sure Marco Rubio has a sense of humor. I'm not so. I guarantee you Carly Fiorina does not. And what about her playing the gender card the other night? That was embarrassing. I mean, I like her. I think she's really sharp. And she knows her stuff. I mean, from foreign policy to economics to business to conservative thought, she's right on the money. And at the end of her little rant, she said something about, a woman is better at this. And it's like, oh, my God.
Oh, what she did was she quoted Margaret. She just simply quoted Margaret Thatcher. Margaret Thatcher originally said that.
But so what?
If you want to have a conversation, ask a man. But if you want it done, ask a woman. And as soon as she said that, my husband looked over at me and goes, she's right.
Well, she is right. But what are you doing at if you want to be in there with the big boys and you don't, she threw a little hissy fit when Donald Trump, was saying that, do something about her looks. Now, I don't think he meant it like they took it, but she threw a little hissy fit. And it's like, well, look, you can't have it both ways. This has to be a non-sexist operation or not. You can't engage in sexism on one hand. Personally, I think it should be all on the board. I think we should be able to be sexist if you want. And then people who don't like sexist, don't vote for them. To me, that's just part of political correctness. I will admit I'm a sexist, but I don't think I'm a sexist in a bad way. I just happen to believe that there are differences between men and women. Now, that's a sexist statement, but I think it's true. I mean, granted, what I know about women could fit the thimble, but I do know this much. We're different, and we are better at certain things. I mean, I don't think there's too many people that would argue that on the whole, generally speaking, and Scotty, this doesn't apply to you, but on the whole, women might be a little bit better raising small children because they have a propensity to be a little bit more patient, than men. I mean, that's not true of all men, but I think a man with Scotty as my witness, Preacher Scotty's crazy. And that's because he spends all of his day raising these beautiful kids and raising them right. And as a result, he's gone nuts. Have you noticed that?
Well, as you're talking about the battle of sexes, this came across my desk just before coming on air, and it's a photograph of what appears to be various military members of the services sitting in a circle being interviewed. And it looks like it's all women, and then you take a good look at the picture, and the title on the picture goes, President Obama now wants funds for transgender surgery for our military. Should tax dollars and the military be paying for this? Every last person in this picture is a man transgendering into a woman. So, what battle of the sexes? Take a pick. Today I'll be a male, tomorrow a female, and maybe somewhere along the way I'll just blend the two of them in and be both at the same time. It's crazy.
Well, I identify as a rock star, so I wish you would pay a little bit more respect to those wishes of mine. And, in fact, I'm changing my name. I've already told Scotty this. I'm changing my name to Rodney Lee Bono. I am absolutely identifying as a rock star. I expect to be treated like a rock star. I expect to be worshipped and looked at like a rock star because that's what I identify with. Listen, you can stick a branch in your eye. It doesn't make you a tree. And there is not, unlike global warming, you cannot find a biologist or any sort of guy with expertise in anatomy or physiologist or any doctor that deals with DNA or the human body. You cannot find one that will say, yes, you can change from a man to a woman or a woman to a man. Because you can't. Now, I'm sorry. If you identify with being a woman and you want to wear a dress, absolutely. Put that dress on. Go do. I don't care what you do, honestly, as long as you don't try to get into the girls' locker room, okay? That's where my tolerance ends. And I don't think I'm being intolerant when I say that. You're not a woman. Bruce Jenner, you're not a woman. I don't care what you do to yourself. You can have a doctor mutilate you, which I think should be a crime, honestly. Bruce Jenner went all the way, man. He didn't just start taking hormones. He didn't just grow his hair and style it and get a nose job and get breast implants. He even started driving badly. He got in an accident and killed somebody to prove that he's a woman. I mean, when you go that far,
wait a minute here.
See what I did there? Yeah. But I'm sorry. There's nothing. He proved he was a woman by being a poor driver. Let's be honest. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to get in there. Or were they? Should I keep ranting? Okay, I will. Listen, Bruce Jenner is my hero. Bruce Jenner provided me with some of the most joyous moments of my childhood. He is a rock star. Bruce Jenner will never go bad in my eyes. I don't care what he does, honestly. And I feel bad. I don't think there's anything evil about Bruce Jenner. I think he's a confused person. I have my own theories about why. But there was a time when he was the greatest athlete in the world. He didn't just run or throw the javelin or the high jump and sprint. And he did them all. He won a gold medal in the decathlon in the Olympics. Can you imagine the physical specimen and the mental desire, the capacity to have that kind of durability and discipline in your life that you would become the best in the world at everything? That is a hero right there. That is something to look up to. Now,
that's right.
I don't think he's a woman. And I don't want Bruce Jenner to be mad at me or think that I hate him, because I love him. And I always will. And the idea that he is courageous because he puts on a dress and puts on some makeup is insanity. And this country we are putting our finger on the electric fence of lunacy. We're literally going up to as a country, we're walking up to an electric fence and grabbing it. And that is nuts. You either die from electrical shock or you let go. And we have got to let go of some of this stuff.
Yeah, it's the PC
Crazy.
police. It's the PC police all over again. Everything has to be politically correct. And look at this, the Harvard University sending the students from Harvard. This is Harvard College students being sent home with a placemat, a holiday placemat for social justice. You see kids going home from kindergarten or preschool with placemats. Look at the placemat I drew for Christmas, Mommy and Daddy. But you don't send a college student home with a Christmas placemat.
Well, how about the story, was it yesterday or the day before, that the students at Yale voted overwhelmingly to repeal the First Amendment? I'm not making a joke.
Or
was that Harvard?
No, that was Harvard, and it was Amy. I'm going to pronounce his name
wrong.
He spells his first name. No, it was Harvard. He was doing it at Harvard. AMI is his first name, Horowitz. And he was doing it as a stunt, and he had it filmed. So he was just doing a petition and stopping students. And overwhelmingly, every last student he stopped signed the petition. And these idiots are signing a petition to repeal the First Amendment, which means they can't sign any more petitions after they sign that petition.
Well, that was one story, and I do know of that story. But there was another story where at Yale, they had a legitimate, I don't want to say student council because I don't know how they're set up in Ivy League, but an official students association at Yale.
All right. No, I apologize. It is Yale. It is Yale that they signed a petition to repeal the First Amendment, and Amy Horowitz. So it was Yale. But Harvard had it where the placemat was telling the kids how to use liberal talking points over the Christmas holidays so that when they sat down to dinner, they can talk about Yale student activism. Now, this is Harvard telling you how to talk about Yale student activism, Islamophobia, the refugees, housemaster, how the word master is so racist. Also, black murders in the streets. So this placemat is giving them the talking points. You know, if my college kid was coming home and sitting down at the dinner table to me, I'd be asking, how's your studies going? Who are you dating? And have you gotten into a car wreck yet? You know, are you having safe sex? You know, you could be asking.
Hold on a second. I'm going back to my college days. Check, check, check. Yeah, they're all yes with me.
But think about this. How immature are these progressives when they think that something like this is okay? And how immature are these college students that turn around instead of fighting back and going, what are you, crazy? And take this and shove it.
Well, the thing is they're going too fast. I believe, I'm not kidding you, I believe that the Democrats or the liberals or whatever you want to call them, progressives, whatever they are, just put them in a big group. I believe they screwed the pooch because they went too fast. Ever since World War II ended, the influence of socialists, the Saul Alinsky types, the Marxists, the Maoist wannabes, have been trying to change the traditions and the culture of America. This has been going on for 50, 60 years. But they did so very, very slowly. They were Hitler-esque in the way that they crept up on us. And it was creep, 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 drip, 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 slowly take over academia, slowly take over the entertainment business, slowly take over the news media. And you know what? They did it. 50 years they had accomplished it. But you know, Barack Obama tried too fast. And it really started showing their hand. And now people know about Cloward Piven. People know about Saul Alinsky. Who had heard about Saul Alinsky 10 years ago?
Mm.
Only people that studied Saul Alinsky knew who he was. Now masses of people are onto this, are onto the different tenets of Marxism, the different tenets of rules for radicals, and they can identify hey, you're a racist if you say the phrase black beetle. If there's a black beetle around, hey, there's a black beetle. Oh, you're a racist. They can recognize that that's one of the rules for radicals in Alinsky's book, is to call people bigots, to call them names, to use ad hominem, to destroy them personally, the politics of personal destruction. People can recognize that now. It's not just a passing thing where people, feel guilty and now they don't want to say anything. Yes, we do have, amongst most of the Republicans, a fear of being called a bigot, because it is very difficult to defend yourself against being called a bigot, even if you're clearly not a bigot. It's very difficult. But at least we can now identify why we're being called a bigot, not because we're a bigot. It's because of a technique long taught by Marx, by Alinsky, and now by Barack Obama and the Chicago machine. It's been going on forever, but I think they should have slowed their roll. They could have got everything. But we're on to them, and clearly we're fighting back. And that is what I love about Donald Trump. He does not care. He doesn't care if I live for one thing. Well, I live for 5 things. Here's one of them. I live for Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton to be in a debate. Ooh. Hillary Clinton has never in her life been called out. She's been asked a tough question or two, but she's never been really called out. And I'm talking about called out. All the things that we would ask her if we were standing in front of her, and not let her get away with her stupid cackle, and just nail her, metaphorically nail her to the wall. She has never been held accountable for allowing her little daughter to be humiliated in public by some fat redneck husband, some philandering POS lying crap. She's never been accountable for being a bad mother in that way. She's a horrible mother. She's a horrible, lying, cheating scumbag, and no one has ever called her out on it. And you know what? Because they're afraid. They're afraid of being mean to a woman. They're afraid of the Clinton machine exacting revenge upon them. That's a legitimate scare. They're afraid of being audited. They're afraid of being called all kinds of silly names. But Donald Trump does not care. He says, bring it. Just bring it, because I will rain down crap Trump Shiite on you like the wrath that only Trump can bring. And that's what I love about Trump. I am a Ted Cruz man all the way. I think Ted Cruz is the Christian that we need right now to walk across the desert and bring great things to this country. But I acknowledge the great things that Donald Trump is doing right now with his big mouth. When you make a film, I come from the world of entertainment, and when you make a film, be it small budget or big budget, there's a person that you hire that basically kind of runs the show. It's not the director. The director works with actors and with lines and how things look. It is the line producer. You hire a line producer, and you're going to have to forgive my language here, but he's happily known as the company prick. You have to have a company prick in order to successfully make a good film. Everybody knows it. If you ever meet a line producer, you are going to meet one mean, uncaring, soulless person. And you know what? You need him. You need that person. And that's who Donald Trump is. And these times call for a Donald Trump. It's John the Baptist. Am I wrong, Scotty?
You are not wrong. And I'll tell you, I love to tell this story. Annie, 4 years ago, about this time actually, when Herman Cain had left the race, he told us to go local. And on Conservatives Coast to Coast, which was Cain Coast to Coast, we got the opportunity to interview Michelle Bachmann, Rick Perry, and Rick Santorum. And I missed Michelle, but I got to interview Rick Perry and Rick Santorum. What do you do when you've got an opportunity to talk personally to a presidential candidate of that stature? you pull out the best question you can, and here was my question. What does Rick Perry, President Perry, what does Rick Santorum, President Santorum, what do they do with the bully pulpit in order to combat political correctness? Because political correctness is at the foundation of every single issue we fight. That is the wall that the left puts up to keep us from winning that battle. You tear that down, and we the people can fight the battles. We the people can fight for the Second Amendment. We the people can fight against abortion. We the people can fight against Obamacare. If you pull down that wall of political correctness, like Rodney just said, how do they beat us? They call us racists, and they call us bigots, and they call us everything else in the world because we're not being politically correct. Donald Trump, by tearing down political correctness, and a President Trump doing that, is the best thing in the world we can do. And I can forgive him on some Second Amendment issues. I believe he's firm on the Second Amendment now. I don't believe he used to be. But that's all right. Ronald Reagan wasn't either. Ronald Reagan destroyed the Second Amendment in California. Ronald Reagan also signed, most people don't know, legislation in California that took abortions from 500 to 100,000 while he was governor. They didn't keep him from being the greatest president of our generation. Donald Trump is doing the right thing. And I'll tell you, you're right, Rodney, he's leveling the way. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people out there that hate Donald Trump. And he's not my pick either. He's never been my pick for president. But I don't look at Donald Trump as president, as a presidential hopeful. I look at Donald Trump as the CEO of the primary season. And all you got to do to find the true story of what's been going on is go to Real Clear Politics, go to the Republican primary, and look at that chart. When he entered the race was the end of Jeb Bush. We can be thankful eternally that he got rid of Jeb Bush for us, because otherwise we'd be in a pattern, a cycle in the primary season, just like we've been in the past, where we end up with a Romney or a Dole or a McCain that can't beat the other guy because he's in the middle and there's really not a lot of difference between the two. If you look at that Real Clear Politics chart, you will see that everybody is at the bottom of the glass like sediment, except Carson, Cruz, and Rubio. Everybody else is gone. Chris Christie's kind of bumping up in New Hampshire, but Donald Trump's going to keep him from winning there. He's playing the placeholder. Ben Carson's on his way down. He's had his day. He didn't have what it took to sustain. But now we've got Cruz, who has been the only one on that chart to steadily rise the whole entire time, that Donald Trump has knocked out all these other people that for one reason or another, a lot of us don't want to be president. And there is not a chance for any of them to jump up in the primaries. Donald Trump has done a great service to us for this primary season. He's attacked the establishment. I'm going to tell you, people don't like him saying I'm going to run third party. Anybody that knows me knows that third party is a bad word for me, okay? I hate the concept of third party. It only hands things over to the Democrats.
Third party.
Rodney and I have had this conversation a lot. Rodney knows exactly how I feel about third party, but I'm going to tell you, I'm glad it...
Uh-oh. We lost Scotty? Oh, we lost Scotty.
Scotty pushed the wrong button on his phone. He does it all the time.
But...
another thing that I like. Another thing that I like about Trump is,
go ahead.
He said, a lot of these guys, they say they make these gigantic proclamations about what they're going to do the first day in office. On the first day in office, here's what even Ted Cruz has one, and he said it yesterday. On the first day as president, I am going to rip up that treaty with Iran. Gets a big applause break. Everybody does it. And another thing about Trump that I like, what he said he was going to do the first day in office? He said he was going to go out into the woods and release his hair into the wild. I thought that was a really...
Go, be free. Go and multiply.
Yes, finally, be free. It's like I would be remiss, and if I didn't mention, the second season of The Flip Side is now out and on the air. Are you familiar with this show, The Flip Side? It's a fantastic
I have it TiVoed. And if people go theflipside.com, theflipsideshow.com.
Flipside
they can see
Show,
where,
Yeah,
theflipsideshow.com. They can click to see where is what station it's on whatever service they have.
Yeah, if you're in Los Angeles like me, it's on KDOC. Other than that, check your local listings because it is syndicated. Guess who was on the show again? I'll give you one guess. For the second time in our second season. Go ahead, guess. I'll let you guess. Who was on the show? It's a woman.
A woman.
Yeah.
Charlotte Atkins?
No. Ann Coulter was on the show again. Now, come on. Who can get Ann Coulter on the show? She's not even on Fox anymore. But she's on the flip side. You got to tune into the flip side. It's funny. We make fun of everybody. It's it's awesome. And Ann Coulter. And she's really cute. I mean, she's really had a good time. You know, Ann's got a great sense of humor, and people don't see that side of her enough. Now, she's still very strident about her thoughts, and of course, you know, if you want to argue with her, you're on your own. That's what I tell everybody. But she had a great time, and we could not be happier that Ann Coulter is going to grace us with another appearance. Please go to theflipsideshow.com and check it out. You can see some of the old shows on there. You can see some clips, and you can find out, as you said, where it's playing in your area. I think you put in your zip code or something. I don't know. I'm not a technical guy, you know. I'm a funny guy. I'm a guy that's trying to change this country, okay? I'm not a guy that pushes buttons. Apparently Scotty isn't either. But what else have you guys been talking about? Enough about Trump. My God. It's a Trump this, Trump. You know, I'll say one more thing about Trump. During that debate, he brought up a really good point. He said, you know, first he said it's going to be huge, and right after that he said he was watching the first debate, the JV debate where the kids are at the little card table during Thanksgiving, you know, that debate. Mm-hmm. And he said it was really, really unfair. Now, I didn't watch it. I don't know what I was doing, get a chance to see it. And Trump said that it was really unfair to Huckabee and to Santorum and the rest of them on the JV squad, because the moderators start out all of their questions like this. Donald Trump said this. What do you think about that? And after that happened about half a dozen times in the varsity debate, Trump goes, you know, this is crazy. Why do you start out every question with, well, Donald Trump said this, what is your position? Why not just ask the candidate what they think? Why do you got to drag Donald Trump into it? Because they want Trump and the other candidates to fight. That equals ratings. Am I right on that, or am I just imagining?
No, you're 100% right, because Trump himself said, well, CNN's getting these ratings because they're doing it. He said it on the stage. And that is what annoyed my husband and I were watching it. And every single question started off, and Donald Trump said, or Donald Trump did. And they're trying to pit it was everyone else against Trump. Instead of turning around and saying, all right, fine, you know, what is your position on ISIS in Libya and Syria? And so said that their position was going to be with the no-fly zone. Do you agree with that? But you're not talking candidate to candidate. It's Trump against the candidates.
Right. Donald Trump believes in a no-fly zone. Do you agree with him? And it's like, what kind of a question is that? And what I really loved about Trump was he looked right at Hugh Hewitt, and he said, first he said, it's going to be huge, and then he said, Hugh Hewitt, professional. I don't think Hugh Hewitt, and I know Hugh, I don't think Hugh Hewitt has ever heard someone dare to say that to him in his life. I can almost guarantee it. No one in public has ever said to Hugh Hewitt, you're not a professional. And the fact is, he was being unprofessional. And Donald Trump is not afraid to say, quite frankly, first he said, it's huge, and then he said, quite frankly, you're being unprofessional. And I was cheering. I was like, yeah, you're unprofessional, Hugh. You've always been unprofessional. You know, you're from PBS, and I like him. I don't dislike him. I think he's a great guy and a great American. But it is unprofessional to pit, you know, to for your goal to be pitting the candidates against you. I have a question for you, Madam ex-New York cop getting shot at all the time, bragging about it. I have a question for you. Oh, I forgot it. I forgot what my question was when I was babbling on. Hold on a second. It'll come back.
Truth for the record, I've never been shot at. They've come at me with a knife. I've gone into a situation where shots were being fired, but none ever directed at me.
You want to know why?
I'm too tough.
No, because you're a woman. See what I did there? Now I totally forgot. Oh, I have a question for you. What is Rand Paul doing in this race?
Trying to be a spokesperson for Jerry Curl.
I was going to say, he's an eye doctor, and yet he doesn't seem to ever look at himself in the mirror, which is kind of ironic. For an eye doctor, he can't see his own hair when he leaves in the morning. He thinks he's Ron Paul. I know Ron Paul, and sir, you are no Ron Paul. He's a guy that has aligned himself with people like Mitch McConnell and has aided and abetted in destroying good conservative candidates and being, being not truthful to his father's, like, if you like Ron Paul, you don't like Ron Paul. One thing you can't say is that he's just dishonest. The man sticks to his guns. He was never going to be president because of it, but you can't say that about Rand. Rand is all over the place. Oh, I'm a conservative. I'm a Tea Party. I'm a libertarian. Oh, hey, I love Mitch McConnell. Hey, I don't love Mitch McConnell. And what they did in that last election, who was that guy? Was it in Alabama or something?
Was it Matt Bevins?
Yeah. What they did to Matt Bevins to get their establishment buddy reelected was nothing short. That's when Rand Paul went off my list. That's when I saw his latest toupee, and I was just thinking, dude, everybody knows. Come on. At least Trump has the decency to, to promise to release his in the wild. I didn't have another joke for that. I felt like Archer, if you ever watched that show. Are we still doing phrasing?
Oh, well.
Anyway, seriously, what is Rand Paul doing in this race? Now, he's probably the strongest constitutionalist in the race, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying I disagree with him on everything, but I think he's another establishment pansy. What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, I think I happen to agree with you because when I saw him endorsing McConnell, I'm going, whoa, wait a minute, take a step back here. Amen. It was the worst thing I ever saw. And here you tout yourself as being a conservative, of being a constitutionalist. Your dad was a libertarian, but you can't even. He doesn't stand anywhere on solid ground except for being a constitutionalist. But then again, if he was a true constitutionalist, he wouldn't take half the stances he's already taken. So I can't even call him a true constitutionalist.
I know. It's sad. Hey, this is Blog Talk Radio. Do you have on your computer, like your studio set up where you can see the chat room?
Absolutely. I'm actually in two separate chat rooms on SHR Media as well as BTR. And Scotty is back with us. I hope he's got his finger off the mute button.
I am here. I do believe.
Okay.
Did you sell any AR-15s to Guatemala while you were running around? Because that's what he does. He's a gun runner.
Well, see, that's where my insight on Putin comes in, because Putin was involved in all that. And I can tell you firsthand that the reason why Putin said that about Donald Trump was this. If you look and you compare three presidents, Obama, Bill Clinton, or Ronald Reagan, and you were any world leader, who would you pick 2 out of 3 that you would want to deal with, even if Obama agreed with you on everything? And I really think that statement that Putin made about Trump was a whole lot more connotation about the current idiot in
That's
chief.
Right. You got it.
Than Donald Trump ever. And I would rather, as a world leader, work with somebody I disagreed with that at least knew how to be an executive in the executive office, as opposed to the nutcase we got in there right now.
Putin is a KGB thug, okay? Let's just be honest here. He is a KGB thug, and his goal, I mean, you don't have to be a Mensa student gun runner from wherever to figure out what Putin is doing. He is expanding his influence where there is a void, where he can do it relatively painlessly and not draw too much military fire his way. He's expanding himself into the void into the Middle East. He's expanding himself into the void in the Ukraine, all of this. That's what Putin is doing. He's a KGB, old school, old Soviet thug, and he is expanding what Ronald Reagan defeated the Soviet Union in the Cold War economically. Putin is trying to get back. And the only real weapon in his arsenal, oil. And this Obama is helping him. He's aiding and abetting. If you want, people are always screaming, we should impeach him and he'd be arrested, thrown him in jail. And the real reason that Obama, if you want to call him names or call him a traitor or whatever, or anti-American would be a nice way of saying it. The main thing is what he's doing to help the real threat in this world is not ISIS. It's Putin. And I said that on the campaign trail. It's not terrorism. That's not our number one threat. Our number one threat is Russia turning back into the Soviet Union and challenging us as a superpower. Okay? Now, you would say, well, China's going to do that. No, they're not. You know how much money China owes us? I mean, do you have any idea? That we owe China. Do you have any idea the kind of money we owe China? They're not going to mess with us because we're just going to go, hey, I didn't put a stamp on the payment. It came back to me, and we'll have all these excuses for not paying the debt that we owe them. If there's any sort of seriousness in our relationship, in a negative way, China is not going to challenge us as a superpower unless they do it economically. Now, you can make a case to where they can do that, but Russia and Putin, tell me I'm wrong. That's the number one threat, if you ask me.
Their grab of land in the Crimea, they're threatening on the Baltic states, Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia. And they need Latvia because they need the Puerto Rico on the Black Sea. And how do I know this? Because I'm married to a Latvian.
Are you married to a Latvian? You know what else he did? Did you read in the papers this morning? He took over Sarah Palin's house in Wasilla. Putin surrounded it. So he's got that. Now he can see her house from her house, which is really weird. Kind of ironic, if you will.
But
you're married to a Latvian, and I have a girlfriend in Estonia who's really, really learned, and she says the same thing. He says he's coming after us next.
Yes, yeah, and from the community, people are going, "Whoa, wait a minute! Maybe I should be looking at making plans to fly back and start to fight." It's a lot of people are frightened. And no one is paying attention. Instead, we'd rather watch, What is the Greatest Voice, or whatever that music show is, or Dancing with the Stars, or, Who's Got Talent, or whatever that latest reality TV show is. But no one's paying attention at all to the world stage. And what is going on there, will very soon affect our daily lives.
I've only watched Dancing with the Stars one time. And it was that episode where Paul McCartney's wife was on it, or maybe it was his ex-wife by then. Did you remember that?
Yeah, she had.
Remember he had
artificial leg.
Yeah. She got eliminated because of termites. I don't know if you know that. It was really sad.
You're making fun of the handicapped. Come on.
That's because I don't care. Listen, here's my theory. When you think of people like Paul McCartney, and, there's very few people like Paul McCartney, but there is a Paul McCartney. Since he was, how old, 16? I don't know how old he is. Good-looking cat, got the British accent. He's a Beatle. He is so, you couldn't be more famous, let's be honest, than being a Beatle. Maybe Muhammad Ali, but that's about it. When you think about Paul McCartney's wife, as not his wife, when you think about his life as a man, since he turned probably 14 or 15, up until this day, I don't know how he manages to live any sort of normal life as a male, because so many females are interested, he's got it all. He's a brilliant musician. He's a good-looking guy. He's got the British accent. He wears cool clothes. He's a rock star. He's famous. He's rich beyond belief. So, and he seems to be a very nice person. He seems to be a good guy. What woman would not, metaphorically or actually be in love? I'm on the phone. Some dude asked me for money. I'm on the phone. Okay? Thanks. You got nicer shoes than I do. How is that? How is that? You're asking me for money and you got nicer shoes. Hey, you're a white male. You're the most employable person on the face of the earth, and you're out here asking me for money. I got 3 jobs, plus I got to go on these wacky radio shows all day to keep my name in the news. Didn't you get the memo? Okay, he walked away. Anyway, so Paul McCartney is, how can he possibly have? He's got to have the most warped view, and through no fault of his own, about women, because every woman on earth loves him for different reasons. So I think that he just got bored with women and said, you know what, I think I'm going to find me somebody with one leg. I think that's what he did. And she totally, boy, did she took him to the rack, as they say, with one. And everybody say, well, she didn't have a leg to stand on. Well, that's not true. She had one, and boy, did she kick his butt. She kicked his butt in a one-legged fight. You know that? And I don't know how I got on that. Oh, I know, because I identify as a rock star. Rodney Lee Bonhoeffer. Thank you. We'll be right back from our sponsor. Who sponsored that rant? It had to be had to be Spotify or some music company.
Oh man, Scotty had to go. He's got a family outing tonight, so I think Scotty said he's turning 80 or something like that.
He's gonna out somebody? What? What's gonna happen? Scotty, you're gonna out. He's mad because I outed him as a gun runner. Who are you gonna out at the family out? Hey, I can do an impression, by the way, of Ringo Starr. You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
Okay, this is Ringo Starr in 1968. Ready? They're at a party. Hey Tom, I dare you to go dance with that ugly Chinese woman. Thank you. Anyway, we'll be right back with.
Well, we are down to our last 7 minutes. The whole day just went so fast, as always, Rodney. I mean, you've got the Flip Side Season 2 coming out, and you're going to be taking a hiatus before you started on Season 3, I assume.
No, we're in the middle. In fact, we're not even in the middle. We're in the first half of Season 2, so we won't be getting a break till probably June or July. And that's fine with me.
Wow. And people can read your articles at joeforamerica.com, which is Joe the Plumber's website. You're the senior editor over there.
That's right. Did I not? God, I can't believe Joe's going to be so mad at me. Yeah, like he's jealous of me, don't you think? He's a little jealous because now I'm getting some attention, and Joe the Plumber, blah blah blah. No, I love Joe. Joe's one of my best friends. He's cool. He's always trying to get me to spread my wings, and if Rodney Lee Bonhoeffer does not work, I'm going to be Rodney. He's Joe the Plumber, but his real name is Joe Wurzelbacher. I'm going to be Rodney the air conditioning guy.
No. How about Rodney the cable guy?
I think somebody already got that one.
Well, they can also follow you on Twitter at Rodney Conover, your name, or on Facebook, and you have RLC for Common Sense. It's your initials, Rodney Lee Conover, RLC, the number 4, Common Sense. So people can follow you around and follow your insanity.
You should go on Facebook and follow me on Facebook because I try to put up some really interesting and funny stories, and then when something just hits me that's funny, I just put it up there. And what's really weird is, you spend all this time, writing a really thoughtful article with some sort of contemporary take on an old philosophical or political point, put it out there, and people are like, oh, yeah, we like that. And then I'm sitting at dinner last night, and I look up. I just happened to see a monitor that had the Thursday night football game on. And did you guys see any of that? It didn't look like football with the uniforms. It looked like the Power Rangers were playing each other. And I just looked up and I started laughing. I said, "Is that football or the Power Rangers?" And everybody at the table just cracked up. And so I popped that on Facebook, and that gets as much, engagement as my thoughtful articles that I take 4 days to write. But I'm cool. I try to put a mix up there, and I know everybody does. It's not everybody has time to read this long article about Trump releasing his hair into the wild. Sometimes you just want something funny, and I try to do a mix of everything. So there you go. How many minutes we got now? 5 minutes? What are you going to do in 5 minutes? You're going to tell what's going to be on the show coming up, all the guests who are not as good as this guest, but still very important.
I was going to mention you and Scotty also have a show here on Blog Talk Radio called Con Over You. They can check you out here on BTR. And I do have a rocking group on Friday. No, today's Friday, Tuesday. I've got Van Hip, who will be on at the start of the show. I've got Niger in as the center of the show.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
And Madison Rising has a new Christmas song they just released, and I texted Dave Bray, and Dave Bray texted me back yesterday. I was walking out of church, and Dave said, I'll be there, so he will be at our closing tomorrow. Tuesday. So we've got ourselves a great lineup for.
You got it. I talked when me and Scotty had Madison Rising on the show. He was talking about trying to get a music video done, and remind him that he can come and use my film location studio for free. I've got a giant film location business in addition to my, all of my charitable works. I have this really cool film location studio, and remind him that he can come and use it for free, because I want those dudes to come out and, it'd be great if they had like a Christmas music video. I can't wait to hear their Christmas song. Looking forward to that. Good catch there.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us, Glenn. Thank you for stepping in as guest co-host. I don't know what happened to Curtis, but I want to tell everyone to be out there, have a safe weekend. Christmas shopping is in full swing, so be careful as you're out there driving and shopping. And we'll see you back here on Tuesday, same bat time, same bat station. Until then, I say good night, and God bless to you all.
Bye, everybody.
If you find yourself in trouble, count on me, my friend. I'll get right up in trouble. You've been listening to Southern Sense Blog Talk Radio. Producer and your hostess extraordinaire is Ann Ubelis. The theme music, American Stand Up, is written and performed by Don Fortney. For more from Don, check out his webpage, teapartymusic.webs.com. Southern Sense is a proud member of Ghost Fighter Radio and Freedom Media Network. Southern Sense is common sense. Take it out, Don. American. Well, look me straight in the eye. Tell me what you see. I'll tell the truth every time. Yes, you can count on me. I've got the backbone, American. I've got the heart, American. I've got the will, American. Will you stand up? Don't sit down. Stand up, don't back down. Stand up and shout it out. Stand up, let's make it loud. American, 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 American. American.